So imagine this. You go out, you spend $1,000 on this gorgeous custom-fitted driver, right? You take it to the practice range, you dial in the perfect loft, you get everything set, and then you walk up to the first tee, and you immediately handicap yourself by, I don't know, maybe 15 yards, all because of a $5 piece of plastic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, millions of amateur golfers are doing this every single weekend. It's wild.
It really is. Like, we obsess over the technology in our clubs, but then we totally ignore the one piece of equipment we literally use on every single shot, which is the golf ball.
Absolutely. It is, without a doubt, the single most overlooked area of golf performance. You have everyday players pouring money into new shafts or these specialized wedges, right? But then they continue to tee up the most expensive, heavily marketed tour balls.
Just because they see them on TV.
Exactly, because they see them on television. And they do this without realizing those specific balls are, well, mathematically designed to punish their current swing speed.
Right. So today we are taking on the role of your personal PGA professional guides. We're doing a full deep dive into the source material we have here, which is a comprehensive breakdown of golf ball fitting. And our mission today is really going specifically after the physics of the sub-90-mile-per-hour driver swing.
Yeah, that 90-mile-per-hour mark is crucial.
It is. So if you are a recreational golfer, maybe a senior player or a mid to high handicap player swinging under 90, and you're out there playing a premium tour ball, it is quietly draining your distance, your consistency, and honestly, your confidence.
What's fascinating here is how invisible this problem is to the player. I mean, a new set of forgiving irons, they just cannot overcome a golf ball mismatch.
Right, because the ball is the final common denominator.
Exactly. If the ball isn't built for your speed profile, you're basically surrendering performance before you even take the club back. The ball dictates the launch, the spin, the flight, literally everything.
So before we look at the specific top 5 balls that actually solve this problem, we need to understand the why. Like, why does a legendary, highly engineered golf ball like the Pro V1 fail the average recreational golfer?
And just to be clear, the sources emphasize this is not a knock on the manufacturer at all.
No, not at all. The Pro V1 is a brilliant piece of engineering, so why doesn't it work for us mortals?
Well, it all comes down to a concept called compression. The Pro V1 and really any premium tour ball, they're engineered for a very specific performance window. They're optimized for tour level speeds, which is usually around 110 miles per hour and up.
Which is incredibly fast.
It's massive. When a professional hits that ball, they generate this immense kinetic energy. That huge force actually flattens the golf ball against the club face for just a fraction of a second.
Wow, it just flattens it.
Yeah, the ball has this high compression core that actually requires that violent impact to activate its spring-like effect.
Okay, so it's like buying a high-performance sports car with this stiff, track-ready suspension, but you're only driving it over city potholes at 30 miles per hour. You aren't activating what makes the engineering special. You're just feeling every bump and getting a terrible ride.
That is the perfect analogy. Let's take that a step further and look at what physically happens at impact when, say, an 85-mile-per-hour swing meets that tour ball.
Okay, walk us through it.
Because you simply do not generate the necessary force, the ball does not deform enough against the club face. And when compression is incomplete like that, your ball speed just drops significantly.
So you're losing raw distance right off the bat.
Right. And second, the ball tends to slide slightly up the club face rather than springing off it. That sliding creates an excess of driver backspin.
And backspin is the enemy of distance with a driver.
Exactly. That backspin causes the ball to just balloon up into the air and fall short.
Okay, let's unpack this because I want to highlight something else the sources brought up, which is mishits. I mean, it's one thing to lose a few yards on a perfect strike, right? But what happens when this high compression mismatch meets, a toe strike or a heel strike?
Yeah, that is where the real damage happens to your scorecard. To understand why, we really have to look at the gear effect.
The gear effect, right.
Yeah. So when you strike the ball on the toe of the club, the force of the impact actually causes the club head to twist slightly in your hands.
Even with modern drivers.
Even with the newest drivers.
Yeah.
And that twisting motion bleeds off the energy that was supposed to go directly into the ball. So when you pair that energy loss with a golf ball that is already too hard for you to compress, the penalty is just magnified drastically.
Oh, wow. So you're getting punished twice.
Exactly. A slight mishit that might cost you, say, 5 yards with the right ball, well, it suddenly costs you 20 yards with the tour ball.
Which translates to those reachable par 5s turning into super frustrating 3-shot holes.
Yeah.
You're hitting a 5-iron into a green instead of a 7-iron. and it just makes the game so much harder.
Precisely.
So if the core of a tour ball is simply too hard, our first logical step is finding a ball with a softer engine. Like, if I'm a player who absolutely loves the Titleist brand, but I'm finally ready to admit I don't swing like a tour pro, where do I go?
The starting point for that player is definitely the Titleist Tour Soft. Coming in at number 5 on the list. The engineering philosophy here is pretty straightforward. They just build a larger, significantly softer core.
So it's easier to squish.
Right, because the core is softer, it deforms and compresses much more easily at those moderate impact speeds. It actively responds to that 80 or 85 mile per hour swing you actually bring to the course.
Meaning you get that trampoline effect back.
Yes, which results in higher launch and much more efficient energy transfer.
Okay, but wait, I'm looking at the material specs for a Tour Soft in our sources, and it says it uses an ionomer cover. But premium tour balls use urethane covers, right?
They do, yes.
So if we switch to an ionomer cover, aren't we essentially telling the listener to sacrifice their short game just to fix their drive? Won't the ball just, roll straight off the back of the green?
Well, this raises a really important question about how golf ball covers actually work, and more importantly, where amateur golfers truly lose strokes.
Okay, break that down for us.
So urethane is a very soft, pliable material. When a tour player hits a wedge, the sharp middle grooves of the club face physically bite into that soft urethane cover. They grab it much like a tire tread grips asphalt.
And that's what creates that heavy, stopping backspin.
Exactly. Now, ionomer, on the other hand, is a harder, more durable material. The grooves just can't bite into it as deeply, so the club face slides slightly, and that results in less spin.
So the ball's going to release more on a chip shot.
Yes, it will. But let's look at the reality of the sub 90 mile per hour player. Are you truly losing strokes because your perfectly nipped 50-yard pitch shot rolled out an extra 3 feet?
Probably not.
Right. Or are you losing strokes because your drive flared into the trees and your approach shot came up 15 yards short in a bunker?
Oh, I'm definitely losing them off the tee and on those short approach shots, no question.
Most of us are. The core philosophy of golf ball fitting for moderate speeds is this: fix the plight first, then worry about the spin.
That makes a lot of sense.
The Tour Soft gives you predictable distance and a reliable ball flight, which gets you to the green in fewer strokes to begin with.
Okay, so a softer core helps us maximize our energy transfer. But what if my main issue isn't just distance? What if I'm coming into impact with a slightly open club face and I'm just constantly fighting a nasty slice? Does a softer core actually fix a slice?
While a softer core alone won't cure a slice, which brings us to a completely different engineering approach and ball number 4. Bridgestone looked at this exact problem and asked, what does the average golfer actually need to hit more fairways?
And what was their answer?
Their answer is the E12 speed, which shifts the focus heavily toward aerodynamics.
Oh, aerodynamics. The sources refer to this as the ball for the Saturday morning swing. I love that phrase.
It perfectly describes the swing most of us bring to the course after a long 40-hour work week. Your alignment is a bit off, your club face is a fraction open, maybe you catch it a little on the heel.
We've all been there. So how does Bridgestone tackle that?
They tackle it with a highly engineered dimple pattern.
Wait, really? How do dimples actually correct a flawed swing?
Think of dimples as, like the aerodynamic steering wheel of the golf ball. When a ball is struck with an open club face, it generates side spin.
Right, the dreaded slice spin.
Yeah. As the ball flies, the air pressure builds up unevenly on one side, pushing the ball into a curve. The dimple pattern on the E12 speed is specifically designed to reduce drag and manipulate that airflow.
So it fights the air pressure.
Exactly. It effectively fights the pressure that wants to push the ball offline. It stabilizes the flight on those less than ideal strikes.
So it's not magically making the drive go 30 yards further. It's making sure that a bad drive stays in the short grass instead of hooking into the woods.
Right. Lower scores come from eliminating penalty strokes and unplayable lies. The E12 speed just minimizes the damage of that side spin.
That is brilliant. Okay, let's pivot back to the cover materials for a second. Let's say a listener hears ionomer cover and absolutely refuses to make that compromise.
Ah, the urethane purists.
Right. Maybe they swing at 85 miles per hour so they know they need the distance help, but they have incredible hands around the green and they really rely heavily on that biting urethane spin. Are they just stuck choosing between distance and short game control?
For a long time, the golf industry actually forced players to make that exact hard choice. But Strixon managed to bridge that gap with ball number 3, the Q-Star Tour.
So they solved it.
They did. This ball is incredibly compelling because it tackles both ends of the performance spectrum.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Looking at the notes, they essentially took the soft engine we need and wrapped it in the premium tires we want.
That is the exact formula. The Q-Star Tour features a softer compression core that activates beautifully at moderate swing speeds. So you ensure you don't lose energy off the tee.
But they kept the cover.
Right, instead of an ionomer cover, they wrapped it in a premium urethane cover, the exact same material used on their Elite Tour balls.
Oh, wow. So you get the mechanical grip on your wedge grooves for legitimate greenside spin without having to swing out of your shoes on the tee box.
Exactly. This is effectively the ball that most moderate speed players thought they were getting when they dropped big money on a Pro V1.
Oh, that's such a good point.
It gives them the elite short game feel they crave, but the engine inside actually works for their swing.
There have to be some trade-offs, though, right?
Sure. The trade-offs to keep in mind are price and absolute maximum distance. Because it uses urethane, it sits closer to that premium price category.
Makes sense.
And if your one singular goal is squeezing every possible yard out of a driver, a pure distance ball will still edge it out. But for the player who wants the ultimate balance of tee to green performance, the Q-Star Tour is just exceptional.
Okay, let's swing the pendulum entirely in the other direction. Imagine a listener who does not care about wedge spin at all. Like their absolute nightmare is flushing a drive, looking up and watching it fall out of the sky agonizingly short of their playing partners.
I know a lot of players like that.
Right. If raw distance is the only metric they care about, where do we point them for number 2?
We point them to the TaylorMade Distance Plus. This ball is just unapologetically simple in its design.
How so?
Well, it makes no claims about tour validation, and it isn't promising elite shot shaping capabilities. Its sole purpose is to help moderate swing speeds hit the ball farther, period.
I see in the sources it uses a low compression core to maximize ball speed, but they also emphasize how well it maintains that speed on imperfect strikes.
Yes, that's the key.
So if the tour ball is that stiff sports car that punishes every pothole, this ball sounds like a massive shock absorber for your swing flaws.
That's exactly how it functions. The preservation of ball speed is the true secret to its distance. Remember the gear effect we discussed earlier?
The twisting of the club on a toe strike that bleeds energy.
Right. The ultra-low compression core of the Distance Plus absorbs that impact so efficiently that even when the club head twists, a massive amount of energy is still transferred to the ball.
So instead of losing 20 yards on a toe strike, you maybe lose 5. That is like a scorecard insurance policy.
It really is. Consider the math over an entire round. Preserving 10 yards on 10 different slightly mishit drives does infinitely more for your final score than hitting one heroic, perfectly flush drive on the 14th hole.
Because you're taking a 7-iron into the green instead of a 5-iron on all those average holes?
Precisely. It fundamentally changes the course strategy. Yes, chips will roll out more because of the ionomer cover, but if your main leak is sheer distance, this is the mechanical fix.
Okay, so we've solved for the slice with aerodynamics. We found the holy grail of soft core and urethane spin, and we've covered pure, raw distance. What happens when we try to optimize all these variables? Easy compression, high launch, and supreme forgiveness into the most complete package for the everyday golfer. What's our number 1?
You arrive at the Callaway Supersoft. It consistently dominates this category for the under 90-mile-per-hour golfer.
And it's not just a marketing gimmick.
Not at all. It doesn't win on marketing prestige. It wins because it perfectly matches the physical reality of moderate swing speeds. It boasts one of the absolute lowest compression ratings on the entire market.
Meaning it takes very little physical effort to deform this ball against the club face and trigger that trampoline effect.
Right. Impact occurs, the ball compresses effortlessly, it stores the kinetic energy, and it rebounds instantly.
Which is huge for slower swings.
It's everything. If you are swinging between 75 and 90 miles per hour, every single mile per hour of ball speed is precious. You just cannot afford to leave energy on the table.
Yeah.
The Supersoft consistently converts your moderate force into highly efficient ball speed and a naturally high launch angle.
If we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
the source material lays out an incredible hypothetical scenario that I think perfectly illustrates why this ball takes the top spot.
Oh, the 83-mile-per-hour comparison.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's walk through that. Imagine 2 golfers playing the exact same course in the same weather with the same driver. They both swing at exactly 83 miles per hour. One tees up a Pro V1 and the other tees up a Supersoft. Walk me through what actually happens over 18 holes.
It is such a revealing look at how golf is actually played. So, on one isolated, perfectly struck pitch shot from 40 yards over a bunker,
Right.
the Pro V1 player will likely get more stopping spin. It'll grab the green better. But golf isn't played in isolated, perfect moments.
It's a marathon.
Exactly. Across a full round of 14 driver swings, multiple hybrids, long irons, and mid-iron approach shots, the super soft player is going to produce a longer average drive simply because their core is actually compressing.
Wow. And what about the misses? Because we all miss.
The super soft keeps the average miss much more manageable because the low compression mitigates that gear effect energy loss we talked about.
So the bad shots aren't as punishing.
Right. The result is that the super soft player is consistently hitting shorter irons into the greens. The tour ball rewards the swing you hope to make. The super soft rewards the swing you actually make.
That is such a great way to put it. There is one more detail about the super soft that the text highlights, and it is a massive, often ignored variable, the psychological factor of the price tag.
Oh, the mental game is huge
It
here.
is. The super soft is highly affordable. Let's be honest about the mental game. When you step up to a tee box with water all down the right side, and you've got a shiny, expensive premium tour ball teed up, your body tenses.
Oh, yeah, you tighten right up.
You try to guide the club, you steer it to protect your investment.
And you are playing with fear, which inevitably leads to tension in the swing. And tension just destroys club head speed.
But when you're playing a highly affordable ball that mechanically fits your swing, you aren't terrified of losing it in the hazard. You swing freely. You commit to the shot. Confidence is performance, and affordability breeds that confidence.
It creates a compounding benefit, right? You have a piece of equipment that mechanically launches higher and straighter for your specific speed, combined with the psychological freedom of not worrying about losing a $5 bill on every swing.
That combination is unbeatable.
That combination of physics and psychology is exactly why it is the premier choice for the recreational player.
So what does this all mean? We've decoded the physics of compression, we've looked at aerodynamic dimples, gear effect, and urethane versus ionomer covers. If we boil all of this technical science down, what is the grand takeaway for the listener heading to the golf course this weekend?
The grand takeaway really requires a fundamental shift in how you evaluate your own game and your equipment. Too many golfers buy equipment based on their absolute best swings.
Guilty as charged.
We all are. They remember that one flushed 7-iron from 3 rounds ago, and they buy clubs and balls to match that single moment. But your handicap is not built from your best swings. Your handicap is built entirely from your average swings.
The slightly thin iron, the drive caught on the heel, the swing where you didn't quite finish your turn.
Exactly. Those are the shots that define your scorecard. The right golf ball one that properly matches your compression needs acts as a safety net for those average swings. It makes your misses smaller, it maximizes the energy you do manage to generate.
That's the real secret to better golf.
It is. This deep dive proves that the best golf ball is not necessarily the most expensive ball or the most popular ball or the ball played by tour professionals. The best golf ball is the one that fits your real on-course performance.
Which means it's time to stop buying balls based on ego or television marketing. If you swing under 90 miles per hour, stop fighting the laws of physics. Stop trying to activate a core that wasn't built for your swing speed. Let the technology do the work for you.
Absolutely. Start making the game harder than it needs to be.
I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over before your next tee time. We talked earlier about the idea of driving a stiff sports car over city potholes. If you have spent the last few years subtly altering your natural golf swing, straining your back, swinging out of your shoes, and creating tension, just trying to get a heavy, mismatched tour ball airborne, what might your true, natural, relaxed swing actually look like once you finally tee up a ball that's mechanically built for you?
You might just discover that the distance you've been working so hard to find has been waiting for you all along.
Something to really think about next time you're standing in the pro shop, staring at that wall of golf balls.